There we go.
And we are live. Good morning, everybody. It's your favorite truck driver in the whole wide world, ex-truck driver, and
Hey, everybody, it's Noah here, and I cannot drive a truck to save my life.
that, that it's not as glamorous as it seems.
Well, it is great to be here, Ben. Thank you for letting me join you. We're blasting this out, live streaming to both our audiences, and we're going to have a lot of fun this morning.
Oh, absolutely. We're. I wouldn't be surprised if this was an hour and a half show. So get ready, folks. We're going through everything. We're going through cryptos. We are going through politics. We are going to talk about rich people dying at the bottom of the ocean. This is a no holds barred show.
Yeah, this is going to be great. Ben, thanks for having me on. And I'm not sure if I'm a guest on your show or you're a guest on my show, but I think the guest is always the more interesting person. So I think that's you.
Well, I don't care how it looks. We're here.
We're
That's
here.
all that matters. It's. I received a text this morning from one of one of one of my friends up in New York who work for it's a blockchain analysis company up in New York, and they're the guys who rich people pay them to let them know when they should buy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the key to knowing when you should buy cryptos. Not the exchange price, not any of that. All the information you need is on the blockchain. On are we going down or are we going up? And the volumes that he's seeing, they're seeing that I saw on fiatleak.com yesterday was unreal. The
It's flying.
Yeah, the amount of friggin' Bitcoin that is being bought and Ethereum that's being bought. Now, there's a difference between actually being purchased and being traded. They watch for HODL wallets. Those are what they call accumulating wallets. And they can label those, they can tag them. And so every trade or every purchase into that wallet, they know that wallet will hold it for a certain amount of time, a year or 2 years. And there's a certain type of wallet which is usually at exchanges, and custody organizations like Coinbase and
Mm-hmm.
that. Those are called permanent wallets.
Mm.
Those are wallets that every crypto they buy, they will never sell. They'll hold it as an asset and never sell it. Those are gaining. Now, this is just in the last 2 weeks. Those group of wallets that will never sell have now, in the last 2 weeks, they've purchased 250,000 Bitcoin.
Wow.
in 2 weeks. There's only 50,000 Bitcoin liquid on a daily average, and that's dropping 7% per day.
So, Ben, is this institutional money coming in now, or is this just high net worth individuals, or what do you think it is?
Uh, probably 70% corporations and the money managers and 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 really the employees of large corporations are actually being told by their boss for the last year, accumulate a wallet for X. Right? So BlackRock has actually been buying Bitcoin for about the last 2 years. And they have an accumulating wallet. Now, we don't know which one's theirs yet because none of the they can't track the inflow, the second level inflow into that wallet and actually label it as an entity or a person where they can track and actually claim it as BlackRock's. Now, once BlackRock goes live and they actually get their ETF license, then they'll be able to track it, because then they can actually create an account with BlackRock, send in a certain amount of money, and watch for that trade in actual Bitcoin. And once they can do that, they can label that permanent wallet.
And they probably have several wallets, you would think, right?
Oh yeah. And from what I've heard, every one of their permanent wallets are actually like multi-sig wallets. It's, you're not going to have one person holding that much freaking Bitcoin. So through institutional money coming in right now, I mean, if you're on Twitter, check out Michael Saylor's last couple of days of post. He's screaming it from the friggin' mountaintops. They're all in, boys. The big boys are all in. He said it on an interview yesterday. He's like, the gates are open, folks. Hold on tight. And Michael Saylor is not an exaggerator. He isn't a hype guy. He's a cheerleader, but he's not a hype guy. He's not like, woo, I'm going to trade my Bitcoin as soon as it hits X. No, that guy's never going to sell his or his company's Bitcoin.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, Ben. He's got a lot up there, but the window to front run institutional demand for Bitcoin is closing. So there you go, right there. So Ben, how soon until we get this total supply shock where where the price just starts jumping dramatically every day?
I
Feels like we're close.
I'd give it, I'd say by July 30th, 31st, that time frame. Because let's see, BlackRock will get approved probably around the 14th.
Oh, you think that quick?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's, you say approved for their new Bitcoin ETF.
Yes.
Yeah.
BlackRock runs the SEC. BlackRock runs Gary Gensler. It's BlackRock owns a majority of so many companies. It's like BlackRock is the root of the progressive economic plumbing. We've all seen the BlackRock chart where they're up on top and it shows like everything that they own, like all the shares. Well, if you flip that over, BlackRock is the root of the tree of the progressive corporate financial economy. And so they coordinate everything. They run all of the NGOs. They run all of the politicians. They run everything. BlackRock runs everything. That's the operations hub. Yeah, and when they say go, Gary Gensler says, "You want that today, tomorrow, when you need that by."
Right.
It's BlackRock has filed for, I think, 557 ETFs. They've only been rejected once.
Right.
And they got that one approved like 2 weeks later.
Right. You think someone got fired at the SEC over that one?
Yeah, it's like, wait, you know who BlackRock is? We're sorry. We're sorry. Don't fire all of us and have us Clinton.
Exactly. So basically, this is they've got a perfect record, and this is probably not going to be the one to break the streak.
Right. BlackRock doesn't ask for permission. BlackRock tells people what to do. It's when you're that big and you control like $9 trillion. $9 trillion. Let's just put it this way. 9 trillion seconds ago, the earth didn't exist. That's how much 9 trillion is.
Wow.
Yeah. That's an unimaginable number. And that's why inflation in certain areas doesn't matter, because BlackRock is the valve. They are the plumbers, like I said. When the Federal Reserve prints money, they push it into either the federal government, and now there are they're opening windows for like Illinois, California. So California can go directly to the Fed. They don't have to go through the federal government. That's what the Fed Now program is. It's now there's just the Fed. There, all of the banks are just branches of the Federal Reserve now.
Mm-hmm.
And your account will be linked with the Fed Now system. So your online app, you'll have an account at the Federal Reserve Fed Now system.
Yeah. What could go wrong?
Oh, absolutely nothing. And that's something else people have to realize is I've heard a lot of people say, well, I'm not going to use this new central bank currency. Now, they're not going to have an airdrop, all right? That's not how this is going to work. It's just the digits in your account are now going to be called central bank digital currencies.
Mm-hmm.
The money you have in your checking account will just be now a CBDC. It's not like you're going to have to log on to a new system. They're just going to integrate into the existing system and then switch it over on the back end.
Mm-hmm.
No one's going to know any difference when it happens. And
Now, what do you think, Ben? We've all heard Cliff High talk about how they're going to try this 3 times and it's going to fail. Do you think this is the first version they're going to try and roll out and it's not going to work?
Yeah, I think the first one might not technically work good. So they'll have to do it again. But what I think the second and the third failure is going to be, the second one will be everyone's going to be rushing in to Bitcoin one way or another. And they're going to be trying to freeze accounts so you can't. Well, that's not going to work. That's not going to work at all because there's going to be such an and plus by that time Gary Gensler will be gone. See, that's why all of these entities like BlackRock, that's why number one, they took out all of the banks that could short actual Bitcoin. So they wiped out the shorts with silver and
Signature.
Signature Bank and all. They wiped out anybody with the capability to short Bitcoin in America. All right. Then what do? Then they go after Coinbase, Binance US. They go after all of the popular retail exchanges. So the SEC wipes out the competition, or doesn't wipe out the competition, but puts them in a headlock. And that drops the price of Bitcoin. You know, this has been a price drop so that other influential people can get in now. these large corporations communicate through the media. When BlackRock leaks a document or BlackRock does a press release, they're not talking to the general public. They're talking to their partners and associates. That's who they're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
They're giving the nod. Hey guys, it's go time. That's why right after BlackRock announced that they were getting an ETF, all these other places filed. They let the king go up to the buffet and then they could go up. You know, so then they get Coinbase, they get Kraken, they get Binance. Well, out of those three, the weakest of the individuals is Brian Armstrong at Coinbase, because Jesse Powell at Kraken, that dude's solid as a rock. He is a true coiner. I mean, he's a libertarian, let's take on the government, Viva La Vegas, V for, victory. And so he will fight. Then you got Binance, which is ran by China. So they don't care. They're like, whatever, And so you get Coinbase in a headlock. And then who files? BlackRock. But in the filing and in the leaked information, they say BlackRock will be using Coinbase for custody.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. So that's BlackRock winking at Coinbase as saying, hey, play the game. And I guarantee Brian Armstrong said yes. Because then all of a sudden we get news Coinbase should have this issue with the SEC resolved in about 2 weeks. Really? A settlement that quick? Gee. Unlike Ripple.
Right. I was going to ask you, I wanted to ask you about that. And I know you're not a fan of XRP at all, but do you think?
Oh, no, I have no problem with XRP. I'm a freedom guy. Right? My number one value is freedom. Right? I don't care what coin you. I'm not a maximalist. The only thing I'm a maximalist at is freedom. Is you choose your currency. If you want to use XRP, use XRP. If you want to use Litecoin, use Litecoin. It has no effect on me. I don't care.
But was that when they sued Ripple? Was you think that was just to buy a couple years so the big boys could get ready and get organized and just slow things down a bit?
Yes, and that's now. This don't let this frighten you about Trump. That's the one thing Trump agreed with the progressives is you can't let Bitcoin grow too quickly, because if they would have if they wouldn't have introduced paper contracts, paper futures on actual Bitcoin in 2000, I think 18 or 17, December 2017, I think. Bitcoin would have kept just going up because there was no way to short it. Right? Now Trump agreed with that. That's why Trump and the other guy allowed the CB or Chicago CEB, whatever the hell it is, one of those acronyms, allowed them to launch a futures market on Bitcoin. Because Trump had the plan, and Bitcoin would have destroyed that plan, because that plan needs focus. That plan needs the people paying attention to the progressives, seeing what they're doing, seeing the corruption, seeing all of that. The only emotion stronger than fear is greed. That's it. You have fear and greed. I've seen people run out in the middle of the street without looking because they dropped a $5 bill. It's greed is stronger than fear. So if they would have let Bitcoin run, the American and global attention would have went straight to Bitcoin and would have collapsed the US dollar too soon. See, this is all about timing it right. Now, why BlackRock and all of this and all of these progressives are now running into Bitcoin is for two reasons. They know Bitcoin is the reserve asset of the future system. Everyone knows it, except the average Joe and Jane, except those who watch my show and your show, and but they're also using it as a weapon against Trump, because they're going to remember Bitcoin is just Bitcoin. Bitcoin doesn't have an agenda. So it's a good weapon or a bad weapon. It's who holds it that uses it for good or bad. And hang on one second. Just a heads up on everyone watching my show over on YouTube. Half hour's almost up, guys. Transfer over to Rumble. There's a link under the show, and I'll let you know when, right before I shut off the YouTube channel. You got about 1 minute. The reason I do that each show is that YouTube, after a half hour, it actually kicks in. I got a friend who works at YouTube that let me know, like, the algorithm. And he's like, look, if you go live and you cut off at least before 33 minutes.
Well, 33, huh?
Yep.
Of course.
Ironically.
Of course.
It won't be able to recognize your voice prior to that because you're streaming live, and it doesn't have the ability to catch you that quick. All right, guys, we're switching over. Bye-bye, YouTube.